I'm going to tell you a story that still messes with my head a little because even now I'm not sure if I won or if I just finally stopped losing. Either way, it all started on a morning when I was down to $12, a cracked phone screen, and a reputation I didn't ask for. That morning, I was walking my son Leo to school cutting through East Ridge Avenue because it shaved 5 minutes off my commute when I noticed people staring again. You get used to that look when you've been written off. The sideways glance. The quiet judgment. The assumption that you're exactly what they think you are. Poor. Unreliable. Probably trouble. Yeah, that happened a lot. And honestly, most days I kept my head down and let it slide because fighting every assumption gets exhausting fast. But that day there was an old man sitting on the curb outside a closed hardware store shaking so badly his teeth were clicking. No coat, no shoes, just thin slacks and a dress shirt like he'd walked out of a different decade and landed in the wrong season. People stepped around him like he was part of the sidewalk. One guy even muttered, "Someone should call someone," and kept walking. You know what I mean? I should have kept walking, too. Leo was already late. I had a temp job interview across town. Rent was due in 3 days. But my son tugged my hand and whispered, "Mom, he's cold." That was it. Decision made. I knelt down, asked the man his name. He stared at me like I'd asked him to solve a math problem underwater. He kept repeating the same sentence over and over about a train he was supposed to catch and a woman named Ruth who'd be mad if he was late. His wristband told me the truth. Memory Care Facility. Name Arthur Collins. DOB 1946. I took him to a diner 2 blocks away. Spent my last $12 on soup, toast, coffee. Leo shared his pancake without being asked. Arthur cried when the steam from the bowl hit his face. Actual tears. That kind that sneaks up on you. I didn't know then that Arthur Collins was the missing father of Daniel Collins, CEO of one of the biggest logistics companies in the state. I just knew he was cold and scared and alone. Daniel found us 20 minutes later. Burst into the diner like the world was ending. Suit, wrinkled eyes, wild phone, still in his hand. When he saw his dad, he dropped to his knees right there between the booths. No shame, no pride. Just relief. Then he looked up at me and said something I wasn't ready for. "You stayed. Not thank you. Not how much do I owe you. Just you stayed." I told him anyone would have done the same. He shook his head and said, "No, they didn't." That line stuck with me. I thought that was the end of it. I really did. I went to my interview, didn't get the job, picked Leo up from school. Life kept doing what life does. But a week later, my heater got fixed. Then my landlord called suddenly polite, suddenly flexible. Then I got a call from a small software firm asking if I'd still be interested in an entry-level role. I didn't connect the dots right away. Pride will do that to you. Here's the part where the story turns because the moment things started getting better is also when the pushback started. The company that hired me, Northline Systems, had a culture. Degrees on the wall. Ivy League interns. People who introduced themselves with job titles before names. And there I was, self-taught community college dropout single mom with thrift store blazers and a lunch I packed myself. From day one guy made it clear I didn't belong. His name was Victor Hale, senior operations manager, perfect hair, perfect resume, perfect talent for making you feel small without raising his voice. He'd say things like, "Interesting approach," while smirking, or "Who supervised this when I was standing right there?" Once in a meeting, he leaned back and said, "Some people are here because of skill, others because of circumstances." He didn't look at me. He didn't have to. I worked harder, took the worst tasks, fixed things nobody wanted to touch, stayed late after Leo fell asleep, laptop balanced on my knees, and slowly, quietly, my work started speaking for me. Bugs I fixed saved contracts. Systems I rebuilt sped up operations. People started coming to me with questions. That's when Victor noticed me differently. One afternoon, he cornered me by the coffee machine. "You know why you're really here, right?" he said, voice low. "People like you don't just walk into places like this." I asked him what he meant. He smiled and said, "Don't play dumb." Collins. That's when I realized. He knew. Or at least he thought he did. The rumors spread fast. I'd slept my way in, I'd been sponsored, I was charity. All the work I'd done suddenly didn't matter. Every success came with an asterisk. And the worst part, management didn't shut it down. They watched, they waited, like they were curious which version of me would crack first. Victor escalated, publicly questioned my decisions, undermined me in meetings. Once sent an email copying half the department pointing out a critical flaw in my code that didn't exist. I corrected him calmly with receipts. He replied with, "Let's discuss this offline," like he'd been doing me a favor. The breaking point came during a quarterly review. Victor presented a report blaming system delays on my team. Charts, numbers, all wrong. When I raised my hand to correct him, he cut me off. "We'll let leadership handle this," he said. Translation, sit down. Something snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough. I stood up anyway. My voice shook for half a second, then it didn't. I walked them through the data, line by line. Showed where his assumptions failed, where my fixes had actually saved the quarter. I didn't insult him, I didn't attack, I just told the truth. And when I finished, the room was silent. Then Daniel Collins spoke. He'd been sitting there the whole time, watching. "Victor," he said calmly. "Why wasn't any of this in your report?" Victor stammered. Tried to pivot, tried to blame communication gaps. Daniel nodded, then turned to me. "Thank you for staying with the facts," he said. "That's leadership." Victor didn't get fired that day. But he was done. His power evaporated in real time. People stopped laughing at his jokes, stopped backing his version of events. A month later, he resigned to pursue other opportunities. You know what that usually means. I got promoted, quietly. No announcement, no victory lap, just a new title, a better paycheck, and something I hadn't had in years. Peace. But here's the part that still sparks arguments when I tell this story. Some people say I only won because of who I helped that morning, that kindness paid off in connections, that I gamed the system without meaning to. Others say Victor was just protecting standards, that people like me threaten merit. So let me ask you this. If merit only counts when it comes with the right background, is it really merit? If kindness opens a door that was locked by prejudice, is that unfair? Or is it correction? I didn't beat Victor because I knew someone powerful. I beat him because I refused to disappear when he tried to erase me. I stayed, just like I did that morning on East Ridge Avenue. Now, I want to hear from you. Was this justice or favoritism? Have you ever been judged before you spoke, before you proved anything? Drop your thoughts in the comments, argue it out if you need to, and if you've ever seen someone get written off unfairly, share that story too. Let's talk about who really belongs, where, and who gets to decide.